Good morning, everybody, and welcome to another Cars and Coffee with me, Kenny Brown. Or if you're a car guy that wants to learn more about cars and performance and cars, then you're in the right spot. Because over the next hour or so, we're going to be talking a little tech. I'm going to answer some questions that were written in. Remember, I can answer questions live. So if you've got a question, be sure to just send it in the comment section. And we've got kind of a cool program lined up for you today. We do have a special guest. Dan Neve, who we've known for years, is an amazing guy. He runs a charity, Cruise for the Cause, that we'll get into that a little bit, but it's to support cancer research. But here's the cool thing. He is going to tell you how you can enter to win a 2021 GT500. I forgot what I was going to say in the beginning. Hope, that's what it is.
It's a hard word.
Yeah, the Hope Edition 2021 GT500 plus how you can actually improve your chances to win. So he'll be coming up a little bit later. And as far as what else we have on the show today, we're going to talk some tech. I got somebody wrote in and they wanted to know some tips on managing the Mustang's power in corners, which is kind of a layup. That's a layup because I was going to be talking about that anyway. So that just kind of works out really well. And then Dan will be here, of course. And then the layup is we're going to talk about rear grip kit 1. Notice I said rear grip kit 1. Everybody knows it as rear grip kit. And that's the amazing rear suspension for S197s. That's part of my AGS 4.0 system. Well, rear grip kit 1 is soon to have a friend. It's going to be rear grip kit 2, and I'll talk about that a little later on. But we'll go over, the whole thing about making the back of a Mustang behave is something I've spent a lot of time working out, and I do know how to make that work. And we still have for the art this month, Kenny's Wild Horses. That was by Ron Burton, who's a well-known artist here in Indianapolis. And those are all the Mustangs I had in magazine articles back in the 90s. Yeah, because that was done in '96. So that's it's going to, after it leaves this wall, it's going to be hanging right behind my desk in my office. Because if you've been with me, a good friend of mine was holding that for us while we were in Chicago. And anyway, he brought it back, and it was just awesome to get it back and awesome to see him again. So I think what we're going to do is I'm going to jump into some questions. We've got some kind of pretty good questions this week, as usual. And remember, send questions in through Speed Therapy Society. If you're not a member of Speed Therapy Society, please join, because the questions that I answered on Saturday mornings come from there. And that's kind of how I shape what I'm going to talk about, because I talk about what you want to know about. So we had some questions this week. This is Andrew. I'm curious to hear Kenny's input on S197 OEM drive shaft versus one-piece aluminum or other versions, and if tracks require a safety loop. Okay, I'll answer the end first. Track day people don't require a safety loop. If you're doing like real racing or time trials, then the sanctioning body probably will have you put a safety loop on, but for track days, you don't need one. OE drive shaft, aluminum drive shaft. There's absolutely no comparison. If you have the opportunity to throw the OE drive shaft away, please do, because they're heavy. They're really heavy. And by going to an aluminum drive shaft, what you're doing is you are reducing rotating mass. Rotating mass, I mean, it takes horsepower to make things rotate. And if you take a lot of the mass out, take weight out, it doesn't take as much horsepower to make it turn, which means more horsepower goes to the back. So absolutely, we put aluminum drive shafts in just about everything. I know there's some carbon drive shafts out there, carbon fiber. I really haven't got into them yet because for typical track day guys, I don't see the value in the extra expense just to save a couple more pounds. Now, if we're racing and looking for hundredths of a second, that's a different story. So that's the first part. And also his thoughts on shifter design for upgrades for the TR3650. Which is the OE transmission in Mustangs. Okay, that's the only real upgrade is to throw the factory shifter away. Yeah. We use a Barton shifter, and we only use a shifter that the entire shifter mounts to the transmission. So everything's on the transmission, not half on the transmission, half on the body. And that's where you get into problems trying to shift real fast, sometimes because the engine's twisting and the body's not, and which means that the transmission liquid is kind of in bind. Anyway, we throw the factory transmission shifters away and just go to Barton. We can, if you're looking for one, we can kind of fix you up with the one that we use. It works great. It's like when it's done, it's like, toggle, really, really tight and quick. The other thing, making up the modifications, unless you're going racing, there's no need to make modifications. I mean, the things that you could do, certainly they run ATF, and there's better ATFs. I think the GM for the T56 GM is probably some of the best. There are also some additives, like I think it's like liquid moly or something like that you can put in the transmission to make things slipperier and reduce wear. But another thing, and this ties into another question from Jim Flattery, he was saying some of the shift problems with the transmission, reading some of the posts, could be the clutch as much as the transmission. And the answer to that is, yeah, probably yes. So as far as a good upgrade, aside from putting some like bloodium in the transmission to make it shift better and last longer, I would switch out to not only a good aftermarket clutch, but an aluminum drive shaft to go with it. Because we're getting back to that rotating mass. I mean, if you can reduce the rotating mass of the flywheel, the car is going to rev quicker. So if you're going to put a new clutch in, you might as well go all the way, put a clutch and aluminum flywheel. And I think you're going to see that it works a lot better. Another trick is to make the clutch reservoir, fluid reservoir, separate from the brake reservoir. That's something we're starting to do more and more of, particularly on track cars. So they keep them separated. I can see from a production standpoint why they'd want to use the same master cylinder reservoir for both. But adding a different master cylinder reservoir also, if putting some like fire sleeve, like spark plug fire sleeve, something to keep the heat from getting into the clutch line, because if that gets hot, then you're going to lose pedal. So I didn't think I had anything here. I came up with a whole bunch of stuff to improve the transmission. So now Ernie is asking about whether, I'll just get to the part of the question that's easier to answer. He said, why do we require KB control arms versus a stock control arm, and the benefits and features of the S197 front end K member? Okay, we're going to be talking specifically about the front grip kit. For those who know with us, they know I engineer systems. The rear grip kit is a complete system. Every single component, and we'll get into that in a little bit, is engineered to work with every other component to make a positive impact on suspension geometry. The same is true with the front. Now, my front grip kit is pretty simple. It's just a K member, control arms, and bump steer tie rod ends. And why do we use the question should be, why do we use a K member with our control arms? But here's the thing, both our K member and control arms are engineered to work together. I mean, the geometry, part of the geometry is in the K member, part of the geometry is in the control arm. And I make a whole bunch of changes to geometry so that the thing is that with a front grip kit, when you turn the wheel, the car turns. You don't have to kind of wait for it to take a set. You turn the wheel and it turns. And that's because what I do the geometry. I add a lot of caster, camber gain, bring the roll center up, add anti-dive. All those things feed into making the front of the car turn. Now, the guys that were in the Speed Therapy Academy, we went through, I think, 2 weeks of just talking about suspension geometry. And it was it's kind of strange how the little things I do in the front suspension impact so many different things. And I won't get into that, but if you really want to learn about suspension geometry on Mustangs, sign up to the Academy, which actually another Academy is going to start in April, I believe. Speed Therapy Academy, yes. Starting in April. And that is, like I say, if you really want to learn, that's the place to learn. And you can check with any of our graduates, alumni, and the value they can get out of that. So the answer is real simple. The K member control arms are engineered as a unit to improve geometry. Now, something else I think Rich said you were concerned about the caster. Maybe that you should stand the strut up for the street. No. No matter what the street track, going to the grocery store, you want as much caster it'll take. If you stand the strut up, what's going to happen? You're going to go at high speed. The whole thing is going to kind of wander back and forth because caster gives you high speed stability, whether it's on the street, the freeway, or the track. So the way my suspension is engineered, it's for maximum caster. In fact, we even moved the ball joint forward a little bit just so we can add just that teeny bit more caster. And anytime we set a car up, and you can look at we've got the alignment specs set up in the resource section, the Speed Therapy Society, and then kind of go through it. Everything says maximum caster, maximum caster. So lay that strut back and get as much caster as it'll take. Now, here's another question. Here's an interesting question from Herstover. Now, I really can't answer it, but we'll talk about it anyway. He wants to know if I could talk about coilover revalving in spring ranges. His example is he changed from 400 pound to 650 pound front spring. And do I need to revalve my shocks? I don't know the answer because I'm not sure what shocks you have. And I'm not sure what the valving is in it. What I can tell you is, like with the JRZs, we have a huge range of valving. The valving will cover a huge range of spring rates, from like the 350 we use for our sport touring, all the way up to 650, 700 for track. Now, the other side of that is in the thing we like with our H&R that we use a lot on for GT500s. This has a non-adjustable shock in the back. And I asked them about how much spring rate we could add to the back with the shocks take, because that leads into something we're going to talk about when we actually introduce this new suspension. And the issue is I want to add a lot of spring rate, and the shocks are only good for 100 pounds over what they arrive with. So it kind of depends on the shock itself. Now, the only person who can really answer that is the shock manufacturer. Call it and say, I'm going from 400 to 650. Do I need to revalve it, or am I still within range? So that's kind of like the best answer I can give you. I know the JRZs were good. I also know like the Strange that I have custom made to my specifications for 197 and Fox. They've got plenty of valving to take a broad range of springs. So yeah, check with the manufacturer and see what they tell you. Okay, cars and coffee. You have a little bit of coffee here. And I think I'm going to introduce Dan. Now, Dan is an amazing guy. He has what it's called a Cruise for the Cause. And he's been doing this, I think, he'll tell us when he started. But what he does in a nutshell is he goes around the country all summer long to different car shows, raising money for cancer awareness, prostate and breast cancer. And he'll give you a little more information on that. And it's just him and his wife. That's the entire program. And I think over the past 10 years, he's raised something like $550,000, which is pretty good chunk of money to put into cancer research and also to awareness. Because he says that their mission is to support the fight and find a cure for cancer and research, and to deliver hope wherever we go. Now, that hope ties into the GT500, 2021 GT500 Hope Edition. We'll get into that in a little bit too. So with that, why don't I stop talking and bring in this guy that I know him for a long time, and he's just amazing. So, Kerry, can you flip the switch? Oh, there he is.
I am.
Morning, Dan.
Good morning, Kenny.
It's good to see. How long have we been known each other? It's been.
Kenny, I can't remember. It was when SVTOA used to have track events. I used to run my Fox body, and I ran my 96 Cobra convertible at SVT on track events. So that was the first time I think we ever became aware of each other.
That's back in the 90s.
Yes. Yeah.
It's a long time ago in a land far, far away. Anyway, why don't you why don't you tell us how you got involved with your cause, your movement,
Okay.
and movement?
It was actually 2010. My mother actually was diagnosed with breast cancer, informed us in 2009, Thanksgiving Day is when my mother told me she had breast cancer. And I was actually in the market for a new Shelby at that time. I was looking at a 2010 Shelby, and I had seen it when I was at the 45th anniversary in Barber Motorsports. I actually was on track down there. But December, January then of 2010, my wife was diagnosed. Linda was diagnosed with breast cancer. And it was just like the old Ford commercial with a light bulb with a better idea going off. It was just, you know what, I'm going to get this new Shelby. I think I'm going to use it to raise awareness if I can for cancer research. That was kind of the beginning of it.
I was listening to you, not paying attention to my questions. So, okay. Okay, here we go.
It's supposed to be natural.
I know it's supposed to be natural, but if I'm talking tech, it's easy. When I have to read, I get kind of flustered. So, I know you. Last year was like COVID time. You didn't do any events, but I think you did like a live, because I know I was on your live webathon or whatever it was.
Yeah, it was actually somebody from Recaro Seats actually contacted me and said, Dan, he said, we see you at events all year long making a difference. And he said, you've got to do something because nobody's seeing you and you can't just let what you're doing kind of fade away. So I came up with a brainstorm to do Mustangs on a Mission, the experience, which ended up being a 2-day telethon, online-a-thon kind of, where we had guest speakers every half an hour, and we were fortunate that Kenny, you were one of them, and I appreciate the fact that you joined us. Yes.
And you still raised a bunch of money.
We actually, for a year that I think I ended up attending 2 events, considering a summer full of events. We ended up making a donation at the end of the year of a little over $60,000 for cancer research. So all in all, it went pretty well.
That's really cool. You know what we forgot? Our presentation.
I know.
Okay, Carrie's ready. So why don't we go? We got a little mini presentation here. So Carrie can take it away. Take it away. Here we go. That's the last page.
Yeah, I know. I was trying to show that. Okay, go ahead.
Full page. Okay, so Dan sent us some pictures. We just put just a little visual together so you can see. And this is, I think, this is the car you started with, wasn't it, Dan?
That is the 2010 Shelby GT500 that I got when I began Cruise for a Cause. Yes, that's right after delivery.
And that's me. And these are your 3 cars.
That's kind of the stable. That's kind of the stable now. So the picture in the far ground is the 2010 Shelby. The center one is a 2015 Roush Stage 3, and the closest one to everybody is the 19 Bullet.
Well, that's kind of cool.
He has a Fox too.
Oh, you have a Fox Mustang too. I love Fox Mustangs. I've got one myself. In fact, it's my old race car. Oh, who are those good-looking people?
That I think was in 2013. I think, Kenny, when you and Carrie came up and participated in our Fall Ford Fest in Wisconsin Dells that we host every year.
Yeah, that was actually pretty cool. I mean, of course, the Dells are always kind of fun, but that was a really cool event. And next, okay, everybody, this is Dan's little booth. He takes all over the country to different car events and shows, and he'll tell us a little bit where he's going to be this year. You see that booth, please stop by, say hello, pick up some merch, as my 5-year-old granddaughter says, pick up some merch, and then donate while you're there. So, yeah. And then the last slide, that's it. It's going to be Cause is going to be giving away a 2021 Hope Edition GT500. And can you give us a little more information, Dan?
Yeah, it's so as you're seeing in the tents, but where I go to events all across the country when I can, I used to sell raffle tickets and I sell merchandise, like you said, for shirts to raise what I could. And last year, because of COVID, raffle tickets didn't work very well. So I decided to do a sweepstakes. First time ever I did a sweepstakes. And we, of course, had a lot of partners that donate product, and we appreciate all of them very much. And so we gave away that stuff. Well, this year we thought, how can we step it up a notch? And Ford actually told me, Dan, if you get a work with a dealer, we'll give you a very early bin build of a GT500 that you can use for your sweepstakes. So we are actually doing the sweepstakes for a 2021 GT500 that we are working with Shelby American in, and we are actually creating a one-of-one signature Hope edition. So it'll be the only one built for 2021. And it's pretty exciting. And the VIN number, we've actually been assigned a VIN, and it's 0005. So it's the fifth car coming off the line for GT500s for 2021.
That is so cool. And for the Kenny Brown family, you have a super special deal.
Yeah, we've a few weeks back we started a promotion with Kenny Brown for 25%. Anybody went to the KB25, they get 25% more entries. But we decided, since we're doing this live program today, to kick it up a notch. And so anybody who's here today and hears it, we are doing a 40% more entries, which is the most that I think we've ever heard of anybody doing kind of for now. And it's KB Performance, all one word. Go to the site, you type in KB Performance, and you'll get 40% more entries than you would have if you did not have that promo code.
So yeah, that's for you guys, because you're part of the Kenny Brown family. You're going to get 40% more chances to win. Plus, I got a plus here. I'm going to kick in 2 $100 gift certificates for Kenny Brown products for those who donate this week up through, what's the cutoff date, Dan?
I think Friday, next Friday is when that promo code is going to go away. So you have to enter by next Friday. So
there you go. Get your buy your tickets, get 40% more, and you go in the pool for the 2 $100 gift certificates. And we're going to announce the winners next Saturday in Cars and Coffee. So it's a pretty quick deal. In and done. So,
The link is in the comments.
and the link is in the comments somewhere over there. Okay, now, speaking about events, where are you going to be this year?
Well, fingers crossed. Like everybody's got fingers crossed that events are going to happen. I've got a full slate again this year. I'm hoping to start out in the end of next month at Ponies in the Smokies in Tennessee. And then I'm actually doing an all-in against cancer car show May 1st in Wisconsin Dells. It's first time ever for all brands, all makes. We're going to do that to kick our year off kind of here. But then we'll be doing Carlisle All-Four Nationals, Mid-America Nationals in Tulsa, Sturgis Mustang Rally, Mustang Week. And then we got my event that ends up in October, All Ford Fest. So that's plus we go to Woodward every year. We always go to Woodward for the big event over there too. So
Yeah, why don't you tell us a little bit more about your Fall Ford Fest?
So every year to kick off Breast Cancer Awareness Month is where we started. It's always the first weekend of October. So it's always that weekend we kick off Fall Ford Fest. And we have a 4-day event. We have an autocross school that we host. We have tour rides across scenic Wisconsin, cross country yard. We have time at the Dell Speedway. We have now on Fridays. Saturday, we have a all Ford Cars show. We have a big banquet at night, where Kenny was a guest speaker at. Every year we try to get somebody from Ford to be a guest speaker that's involved with the Mustang world or Ford world. And then Sunday we have autocross and some more tour rides. So it's full 4 days of enjoying your car, your Ford, and being with others that enjoy the same sport.
Okay, so what are the dates again?
This year, the dates are September 30th through October 3rd. And it's in Wisconsin Dells, Wisconsin. We have a new website, which is easy to find. It's www.cruise4cause.org to find out all the information we've got going on.
Well, that is really cool. So everybody, donate, get your 40% more chances to win. Get in the pool for the chance to win a $100 gift certificate. 2 of those will be given away next Saturday. And help Dan with his cause, so you could be part of his cause. So, Dan, we really appreciate you coming in. Hope everybody gets their tickets for that GT500. Number 5. God, that's like.
Yeah, it was pretty exciting when we heard the VIN number, what it was going to be. That was pretty exciting. And Kenny, thank you to you and everybody at Kenny Brown and Carrie for all you've done over the years. And thank you for being such great friends. Appreciate it.
Okay. Well, thank you. We'll see you sometime this summer somewhere.
I hope so. Yes.
Okay. So remember, donate 40% more chance. $100 Kenny Brown gift certificate for Kenny Brown products. Yeah, and it's only good through Friday. So be sure to let your friends know. And I forgot to hit the share thing. Don't forget to share. Hit the share button. You can start your own watch party. I was supposed to do that in the beginning, and I'm surprised I didn't get a note from Carrie for forgetting it. But do the share, send some thumbs, send some love, and we'll just keep moving right along here. So, okay, I'm going to do this kind of backwards from where I have it in my notes. My new rear suspension. And I've been working on this for a very, very long time. And what it does to the rear of a Mustang is kind of like beyond incredible. There's like years and years of development, huge investment in time, people, and money, to the point where we've actually applied for a patent. Because there's just too much into this. I don't want somebody, running down and ripping it off like most people copy my products. It's pretty complex, though. I don't think a lot of people are going to get it right. But anyway, we're going to be introducing that in a private introduction, February 25th, 7 p.m. It's a Thursday. And this is for Speed Therapy Society members only. And this is before the press, before the general public. We won't be introducing this to the general public and the press probably maybe the end of April, beginning of May. So this is like you're getting a preview now. The Speed Therapy Academy guys actually got the first preview. They got to see one of the prototypes that we had been using. Also, we did 2 years of on-track testing. And I can tell you that it works. But we introduced it to the Speed Therapy Academy guys, and we were doing, because of the complexity of this, we're building them in lots of 10. Well, the first lot of 10 already sold out. So the next lot of 10 will be coming up, and the Speed Therapy Society people are the ones that are going to be eligible for that. So this is going to be before the media, before the general public. It's going to be introduction of my new rear suspension. And to give you a hint, it's going to be called Rear Grip Kit 2. Okay? Remember earlier I said we talked about Rear Grip Kit 1. Well, that's the current Rear Grip Kit we have that does, pretty much change all the geometry at the back just to make the car work. Just in a nutshell, the best place to overtake somebody in racing is under braking. On track days, the best way to intimidate somebody is to come from way back and under braking, end up, just in all their mirrors. So I really focus on braking a lot. And in the Rear Grip Kit 1, there's a lot of anti-dive built into, not too much, but just the right amount of anti-dive built into the back, which anti-dive is what gets you off the corner, because that controls the ratio between how much the car comes down and how much weight goes on the tires. The factory, there's very little anti-dive in the back, which means the car comes down a lot before you start putting weight on the tires. I've got it engineered so it's like instant center, side view, swing arm, all that stuff kind of works out to just the exact point that I want. After a lot of years, this is AGS 4.0. This is the 4th generation. It started in '87 with the Saleen cars. Anyway, I get all the geometry right, and then the big thing that I do with Rear Grip Kit 1 is I lower the roll center, and we'll talk about that in a little bit. So the back of the car squats down. Now, this is getting back to the question: how do you manage your Mustang's power in corners? There's only one way to do that, and that's with your right foot. So, the only way to manage its power is with your right foot. Too much right foot, and you're going to overpower the outside tire. Car is going to get loose. That's why when I engineered my AGS 4.0 suspension system, remember system, I do systems, that the front and the back work together. The front roll center's up, the rear roll center's down. There's more anti-squat and anti-lift, which under braking keeps the back from going up. But the whole idea is to be able to get back to the gas sooner. Now, if you've driven a Mustang on track, you know as you go around a corner, you have to wait until that axle settles down so you can put the power into it so we get both wheels have traction. If you get to the power too soon, you overload that outside tire, and what happens? You get oversteer. And oversteer is when the back of the car hits the wall first. So by bringing the roll center down, rear down, the front up, you actually get, with my suspension, you get back to the gas way sooner, which gives you much quicker mid-corner speed and much quicker corner exit speed. And track speed is all about corner exit speed, whether you're racing or on track. So, you know, you manage the power with your right foot, but if you've got like the AGS 4.0, the suspension helps you manage that a lot better. So I mean, real quickly, I'm just going to run through the parts because a lot of the components of rear grip kit 1 carry over to rear grip kit 2. So let me show you a few things. Now we have, you know, part of the anti-squat in the side view instant center is squat brackets. Now these look a little bit different than everybody else's on the market. And I think ones I've seen are just like big and heavy and have this great big arm that comes up the back, and never really understood that. Where with mine, it just mounts right here onto the axle, it mounts and shear it. So I mean, it's solid mounts and shear. If you got a big horsepower car, we give the option to put another bolt through here to make it super strong. But that's the bracket. Now you know there's only that's the factory hole. That's a new hole. There's only one hole. Why is that? You say, well, everybody else has like 3-4 holes. You know, that always confused me. I'm sure that's like the drag racing guys. They want to play with it. But, you know, for track, you know, I've done all the engineering, all the testing, all the development, and I've got the instant center, which is the upper lower control arms kind of intersect, is the instant center, and I've got it right where I like it. You know, like I said, I've been doing the suspension a long time, and this is all part of it. So there's only one hole. I mean, I don't like people adjusting things if they don't have to. It's like my old saying is, if you give track guys something to adjust, they will adjust it. And so my principle is, you know, drive the car. I'll do the engineering, just bolt stuff on and drive. And don't worry about adjust. The only thing there is to adjust are the shocks if you got adjustable shocks. So that's part of that's the bottom part of the traction is the axle bracket. Now on the top is the upper control arm module. Again, this is not a part; it's a module, because this upper control arm is longer than factory, and the pickup point is relocated because that's all part of, you know, where the upper control arm points and where the lower control arm points, that point of intersection is called the instant center. And I've got it set where, you know, like I say, where I like it. And it gives you, not only gives you good traction off the corner going forward, but it also keeps the back of the car down under braking so it doesn't want to pop up. So use more rear brake. You can brake later, brake deeper. Something else is that I do is completely different. Well, actually, people are starting to copy this now. So I sort of started this, but if you look, these are the control arms. Of course, really nice aluminum control arms. I use super heavy duty professional grade 5/8 rod ends instead of the great big clunky 3/4 rod ends that pretty much everybody uses. You do the math, and these are actually, these 5/8 or 3-piece Teflon lined are actually stronger than many of the 2-piece 3/4 inch rod ends that are on the market. But anyway, the reason there's 2 different sizes because if you look underneath the S197, the front control arms are splayed outward at the front. Okay, without getting too deep in geometry, what that does is if you look down and draw a point of conversion, put that up to the roll center, it's pointing up in the air. By having them parallel, we move the front in and the back out. So all of a sudden now they're parallel to center. If they're parallel to the center, there is no point of convergence. So it's infinity, which means the roll axis is going to be parallel to the lower control arm. And another little thing that I do is, I think you can see that little rubber ring. Because we move these all the way over, close to the bracket, just in case the rod end would turn a little bit, it would rattle. So we call these our little anti-rattle rings. So it just keeps it from rolling over and rattling. So that's part of rear grip kit 1 that carries over. Now what doesn't carry over is the roll center kit. And we talked about the rear roll center is where the panel bar crosses the center line. And a Watts link is the best way to locate an axle. The problem is where the pin is on the Watts link is the roll center, and just it's hard to get it down very far because you still have to have some bracketry and everything else. In the Trans Am days, what we would do is take the Watts link and mount it horizontal to the bottom of the differential. Okay, that way we get the benefit of a Watts. We put it right on the bottom of the differential, so we get the roll center at the bottom of the diff. Well, that's a little hard for the average guy. So what we do is we've got a bracket. This would be the bracket. Notice the quality and how heavy duty this stuff is. I mean, this is good stuff. This is the bracket that would go on the chassis, and this would be the bracket that would go on the axle. And you can see that we move the panel bar all the way down to the bottom of the differential. And by doing that, we bring the roll center all the way down to the bottom of the differential. So a combination of the anti-squat, the instant center, and the roll center make the back of the car just work. Well, you got to tune in 25th to find out about rear grip kit 2, because it takes this, my concept and my geometry, it takes it to a whole nother level. So this is another teaser. So now I gave it away. It's called Rear Grip Kit 2. Yeah, 25th. So be there. You can sign up. Oh, yeah, you have to register. And you can only be a Speed Therapy Society member, and you have to register. Why? Because it is going to be a Zoom meeting, which means that you're going to have to register so you get your link in your email. So I'm excited. I can't wait to show you this. Actually, you're going to see a regular production piece. The Speed Therapy Academy guys got to see a prototype piece, which is production piece has been a lot of changes. But that's what happens when you do 2 years of track testing. You know what you want to do. So I think I got just about through everything. Oh, next week.
Did you get the
Tips?
Yeah, the track tip. Maybe I missed it.
Track tips?
Yeah, just keep going.
Okay, she said keep going, so I will. Next week for Cars and Coffee, obviously we're going to announce the 2 winners for the $100 Kenny Brown gift certificate, but also we've got another special guest, Evan Smith, who I think we've known since the 90s maybe, when he was working for Muscle Mustangs magazine. And the way that I met him is we were doing track events with Muscle Mustangs magazine in the 90s. And Jim Capisano, who was the editor, came to one of our driving schools track days. And all the guys at Muscle Mustangs were like, all of them were just drag racing guys. Everybody was drag racing. Well, Jim came to one of our track events. And I taught him how to drive. And he thought that was so valuable that he had all his editors, I think for the next couple of years, all his editors he sent to me to teach them to drive. And the reason for that is these editors get to do a lot of like these car introductions and track things with manufacturers. And I can tell you I've been at some of those, and just because somebody can write doesn't mean they can drive. I could tell you stories, but Jim wanted all his people when they showed up to these press days to know how to drive and to kind of pretty much show everybody up, which kind of elevated the magazine. So that's how I got to meet Evan, and we've been friends ever since. I think he's probably one of the top Mustang editors from Mustangs around the country, and he's got lots to share. So that's going to be pretty cool, and I think we're trying to get some. I guess he's got some driving impressions. We asked him about like the Mach-E and the And the Bronco, well, he's been at the press things, and he really can't say too much because a lot of that is embargoed. But I'm certainly he can give us his driving impressions. Now, somebody asked, I think, about the other week, the differences. If I knew the differences in the Mach 1 that's coming out, is it the Mach 1? Yeah. See, I've been so busy with getting this new suspension in the market. I kind of like just lost track of the world. But anyway, somebody asked what would apply, what they could cross over to like a 17 or 19 Mustang. My suggestion is, I don't know because I haven't even taken the time to see what's in the car, to be quite frank. But I'm sure that if you do a little research on the internet, somebody's already figured that out. But I would guess most of what's in the Mach 1 would cross over to the 18 and newer cars. So that's the best answer I can come up with. So with that, I think Carrie has come up with a little computer and her little questions.
Yeah, first of all, it's time for questions. So add your questions to the comments and we'll answer those. Let's talk one more time. Do you want to bring in Dan one more time to tell about the what he's done, the promotion with the GT500? I think that's just brilliant. And the code, he can give us the code again.
Okay. Okay, Dan, you want to give one more time, kind of give us the overview on the GT500 and the special code.
Okay, so this year we are giving away a 1-of-1 signature Hope Edition GT500. Its VIN number 005 is going to be coming off the line. The color is actually going to be the new color, antimatter blue with black stripes. So that's going to be given away throughout the year. We're going to do sweepstakes, but it's going to be given away the end of November, middle of November. And the code for Kenny Brown Performance listeners that are here now and for the week is KB Performance. So if you go to our website or go to Kenny Brown's website, any of them will have the links. But otherwise, go to www.cruiseforacause.org and enter KB Performance to get 40% more chances to win.
Plus, you put your name in a pool to get a chance to win a $100 gift certificate for Kenny Brown products from me.
Agreed. I think I'm going to throw in. I think I'll throw in a winner. We'll give in one of our Cruise for a Cause T-shirts too.
Oh, there we go.
We'll add that to the winners of the $100 gift cards.
So thank you.
Winner, wear a T-shirt for dinner.
So again, the code is KB Performance on Cruise for a Cause. It's in the comments and on the screen. Thanks, Dan.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you. Thanks, everybody. Stay warm.
Okay, how are we doing for questions?
Let me check it out. Ernie has, so how much do private lessons at HPD event with Kenny cost?
That kind of varies. I mean, I do coaching. It
depends on how many people, if it's
private. It depends if it's private, what the event, what my expenses are. I mean, it's I won't say it's not like cheap, but the value is pretty significant. I'll give you an example. I went out to one of our customers in Nebraska with a Boss Mustang. Actually, he had somebody else working on it out there. They really messed it up. He shipped it to us. We got the thing really straightened out. Anyway, he contracted me to come out for a weekend and driver coach him. And the difference in just one day from where he started to where he was at the end of the day, it was like a different guy. I mean, he was so much better, picked up so much speed because it's like one-on-one. But I mean, it basically you pay for my day, expenses and things like that. But it would depend on where it was. So do I contract for driver coaching? Yes.
Okay, let me check the comments.
You're supposed to be ahead of this.
Oh, I know. I'm a little behind today. Question, does the new suspension, does it use a rear sway bar? I guess somebody's looking for some information.
No. I mean, rear grip kit 1. I mean, the geometry is so good on rear grip kit 1. As some of you know, we throw the rear sway bar away. All it does is it puts too much roll stiffness in the back and makes the car loose. Well, you don't want it loose. You want the car tight. You want it to hook up. Rear grip kit 1 does not have a sway bar, so why should rear grip kit 2?
Okay, and then we also have a question. Great show. I already installed a Watts link on my 2007 Mustang. Should I return to a Panhard rod system?
In 2007, that's 197. Yeah, I mean the trick is like the entire rear grip kit. I mean, it's a package. The Panhard bar is lowered to the bottom of the diff, so you bring the roll center all the way down to the bottom differential. Plus, that mates up with the the side view geometry, the anti-squat, the anti-lift. I mean, the real key. I mean, if you put a Panhard bar on and put it at the bottom differential, is it going to be better than the Watts link? As far as roll center, yes, because the roll center is going to be lower. I don't know which brand of Watts link you have, but wherever that little pin, center pin is where your roll center is. And I guarantee it's not equal to the bottom of the differential. So it's pretty much, I think the thing to do is probably sign up for one of my 15-minute consults, and we can kind of talk about it. There should be somewhere that you can, if you can't find a schedule, call in, check in with Carrie, and she'll set you up with one of my 15-minute consults, and we can talk it through.
Yeah, so we will be posting the 15-minute consult link should be in the comments area. And then I'm going to have a message coming through. Then also, why don't we repeat one more time? On the screen is a Cruise for the Cause website, Cruise for the number 4 a cause, and enter promo code KB Performance for 40% more chances to win. So let's help out this Cruise for the Cause, and it's a great way to donate money and have the potential to win a brand new GT500 Special Hope Edition. Okay, and then let me see, we have a couple more things coming through here. Anna said, yeah, I think this, you already answered this. Anna says, can you say if the rear grip kit 2 will still use the rear sway bar? And I think you just answered that.
No, I mean, if we don't use it for rear grip kit 1, don't need for rear grip kit 2.
Okay, if there's any more, this is the last call for any more questions. Okay, and I guess that Evan is in the audience.
Hey, Evan.
Okay.
Yeah, Evan's a pretty cool guy. I mean, we followed him through, I don't know how many different, we first met him when Muscle Mustangs was in New Jersey, North Jersey. And then they got bought out by somebody, and they got bought out by somebody, and they got bought out by somebody, and they got bought out by somebody. I mean, it's just crazy how the publishing world just works or doesn't work.
And Evan also has a pretty active YouTube channel, and I believe it's Revan Evan. If it's not Evan, why don't you throw that in the chat what it is, and we'll get that up. We'll announce it next week as well. Okay, here's a couple more questions. Eric Ringano. Do you recommend solid mounts in an SN95 steering racks or urethane?
SN95?
Solid mounts?
We use urethane, and if it's a race car, I go to a solid mount. If it's a street car, track car, I stick with urethane, because it just, when you got anything that's really solid mounted, like in race cars, you're going to pick up vibration somewhere. And having that little bit of urethane just is a teeny bit more vibration dampening. I can tell you that with our front grip kit for the SN95 Mustangs, we have, it comes with offset rack bushings, which actually move the rack up to help with the bump steer. But that's all, the front grip kit for SN95 is the K-member, control arms, offset rack bushings. And then what needs to go with it is our Caster Plus, our camber plates. I say camber plates, not camber caster plates, because for SN95 Fox, what we've done is we've actually eliminated the caster adjustment and put maximum caster in. That way I can actually get more caster that way. So it only is a camber adjustment. But I mean, that's the front grip kit for SN95, and it is adaptable to a Fox. And you do need to cut a few things and move a few things around, but you can put them on a Fox.
Okay, we have another question from Annabis. Annabis actually has our front and rear Kenny Brown grip kits. Oh. And it's just bumped ahead of me. Okay, what do you use for brake bias on the big brake kits? I have a 14-inch front Brembo, And they say bias would change if I use a 13.8 rear disc. So what do you use for bias? The 14-inch front and rear multi-piston discs? That's a question.
Okay, what year car is it?
He has an S197. I think it's probably 10 and above.
Okay, what do I do? Nothing. And the reason is that, you know, the brake packages we use, whether it's the street kits or the Pro 4R, you know, we've been working with Bear for a long time. We have a good relationship. The way the Bear engineers their pistons is they are totally transparent to the ABS system. So the ABS system takes care of all the bias. So literally we do nothing. It's if you get the right piston and volume in your master cylinder that matches what the factory is, you get a better brake caliper, and you know, the ABS doesn't even know the difference. I will say that as far as, you know, the brakes, you know, Cliff's FR500S is in here to be completely updated, and he was complaining about he had I think Stop Tech brakes, and he said he never really had confidence in the brakes. Well, I can tell you that you know, Stop Tech brakes work on a lot of cars really well. I'm not a fan for them on Mustangs, and that goes back in the, I guess when they first came out in the 90s. We tried them, we put them on a couple cars, and I didn't like them because it just didn't give me the right pedal feel. And I think part of that is they were, you know, they're based off of a Porsche caliper, and it just, you know, for the Mustang, it wasn't really a good match. Where with the Bear brakes that we use, I mean, they're engineered to be a perfect match. So no bias, just drive. Now, if you don't have ABS, then that's a different story.
Okay, I'm going to answer this question. Toby Award is asking, do you offer shirts and hats? I don't see them on your website. So Kirby, they are in the works.
They're coming.
And they should be here shortly. And if you are asking for Cruise for the Cause shirts and hats, you can go to Cruise for the Cause. Again, Cruise number 4, acause.org, and you can get them there when you're buying your raffle tickets. So the next question is, this is just a comment. Son of the Hills, thanks for answering my question. Wish I had gotten with your show a year ago. And he is listening on YouTube. So what would you like to tell him about that?
Okay.
No, you're telling him the wrong thing. I'll tell him.
Okay.
So we have, if you want to go back, we have all 45 episodes on the YouTube channel. So on Kenny Brown Performance TV YouTube channel. So you can watch all of them if you want to spend the weekend watching them. Pretty good.
No, I was going to tell them there's click things. They have to click.
Okay, you go ahead and tell them
well, except I can't remember the click. They click.
Ask them to subscribe now.
Subscribe now.
And click the bell for notifications.
Click the bell for notifications.
Okay, perfect. And that's on YouTube. And then we have Joe Johnson mentions, looking forward to seeing if the hood vents and the 3-way pass radiator will lower my oil temps. And I'll be at Eagle Canyon March 6th and 7th. That's coming up. You'll have to report back.
Yeah, I think, because I think Joe asked about oil temperature. How high do you go? And I don't like to see oil temperature over like 275. If it gets up around 300, I think bad things can happen depending on what the bearings are. I think in a GT500 or GT350, they would have pretty good bearings and they wouldn't laminate. But I just, you know, 275, 280 is getting pretty hot. However, now that you've added the triple pass radiator, all of a sudden you've got more cooling capacity on the coolant. And by adding the vents on your hood, you've improved your cooling capacity even more. So I think the thing to do is just watch and see where your water temperature is now and where your oil temperature is. And if your oil temperature still stays high, then we can talk about, you know, putting an auxiliary oil cooler on there. But if the radiator and the hoods, you know, bring the oil temperature down, you're good to go.
So Evan Smith mentioned, and I still have my Kenny Brown driving gloves. He might need to bring them next week, Evan.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about those.
Those are vintage.
Yeah, those.
So
oh, gosh.
We need to come out with some new driving gloves.
Yeah, we used to have Kenny Brown driving gloves.
So
because everybody knows there's 3 things that you need to do track days. You need a good helmet, to protect your noodle. You need a good pair of driving gloves. And why do I say that? Because when you've got gloves, all of a sudden you're not gripping the steering wheel as hard. You can use a little better touch. And all the gloves are like leather palms, so they're not going to get sweaty. Your palms aren't get sweaty and slide. And it just your hands will be more relaxed and you'll drive better. The other thing is a pair of driving shoes. I call my driving shoes dancing shoes. And the reason is, it's like when you're on track, you need to be one with the car. You need a really tight set of the harness belts. And because you're feeling with your butt, you're feeling with your hands and the steering wheel, and you're also your feet. And your feet need to be able to give you feedback through the brake and the clutch. And driving shoes have very thin soles, and that just gives you much better feel when you're doing that. And it's easier when you're moving your feet around. So you've got big clunky shoes. Sometimes they kind of get caught on something. So helmet, gloves, driving shoes, and we can get all those on the Kenny Brown website.
Oh, okay. Evan says that he's going to bust them out. He may wear a helmet too. That'd be cool. On the topic of cooling, it's important to ensure air is flowing through the radiator, not around it.
Yep, that's true. Yeah, I tell the story that I think it was Road America, and somebody was saying they put a great big radiator in, and the car still runs hot. And I went over and took a look at it, and here's the radiator sitting, and there was nothing blocking it off. So what was happening is the air, instead of going through the radiator, was going around the radiator. So, part of good cooling is making sure that there's a sealed off tunnel, so the air that comes in has to go through the radiator and doesn't have to slip around. So that's a good point.
Okay, and Evan has a question, and I think we could ask this to everybody in the audience. Have you done any sim racing? I've been doing iRacing, and it's a lot of fun. Does anybody? I know your answer.
My answer. I don't even have time. I mean, it's this. Trust me, this to bring this rear grip kit to production is taking a lot of time, and it's you'll see it. The 25th, you'll see why. So I haven't had time to do anything.
But has anybody else tried?
Has anybody else? Who else has been iRacing out there? I know that they've got so many stuff. I mean, you can drive just about any track now. In fact, I think here's a story. A couple of years ago, there was a young lad who won the GT class at Road America. And he had never, ever driven Road America before. He had never driven in the car he drove. But what he did do is he had driven Road America on simulator a lot. And he just jumped right in the car and then kicked everybody's butt. So, I mean, the simulators are getting good, and it's well, it's. I think a lot of people through the COVID thing, I think this whole sim racing thing picked up quite a bit. Of course, I just, I wish I had time to do that, but just not there.
And then you're going to go, when you answer this question. Okay, you're going to be frustrated. Ready? Rory has a question. Any movement forward on the rear Fox IRS bearing hubs? I told you.
I just wish we'd get one. We have been searching for. Roy's car needs a right rear IRS hub, upright, and we can't find one anywhere. We need to get a set at some point, so we can take a look and see if it's feasible for us to, maybe look at doing an upright with, like cone bearings that will stand up. Because the bearings that come with them they're designed for fuel economy.
Okay, so since we're having difficulty, let's put a call out there for everybody in the audience to see if they know where one is. If they have a buddy in the garage.
Yeah, see if you find us. We need IRS right rear IRS spindle, but I'd also even take a left one just so we can take a look at it and sit down with our guys in the machine shop.
So anyway,
that's anybody knows of any, let us know, because we're getting pretty frustrated trying to find it.
And here is our last question. Ernie says, what years is the new rear grip kit for? Rear grip kit 2.
5 to 14.
Mm-hmm.
It's S197. So.
Oops. Let's see, there's a couple more here. Brian mentions, I think virtual e-racing is great for learning a new track.
I agree.
Okay, and Evan comments, there's a lot of setting up the suspensions and learning tracks and procedures in terms of flags, pitting, and managing a car. I think that's on the iRacing stuff. And Brad mentions we have the stock uprights. Can remember we switched to the billet uprights with the Porsche hardware.
Say it again.
I don't know. We have the stock uprights. Can remember we switched to the billet uprights with the Porsche hardware.
Okay, we're not going there.
Okay.
We're not going there.
Okay.
Which reminds me, I got one more question here from Brad. I forgot.
Okay.
He says, is there any particular food you recommend not eating the night before a track event? Well, I think the first thing, garlic and onions would come to mind because you have to live with yourself in your helmet. Certainly bean burritos. I take that off the cuisine list. But most importantly is alcohol. I preach absolutely no alcohol the night before you go on a track. You'd be surprised what that does to your eye-hand coordination and everything. And I'll give you firsthand experience. One year we were doing a track event at Road America, and I was doing some business in Chicago, and I met the rest of the team up there. And I got there before everybody else, and we're sitting around Sequins, talking to some people, had a couple of beers, didn't think anything of it. The next day on track, I drove like crap. I mean, I really drove like crap. And then I just really was mad at myself. And obviously, Saturday night, I didn't have anything. I had a nice, healthy dinner, got to bed early, got lots of sleep. And, Sunday morning, man, I was just right on. I was right back to driving like crazy. So absolutely, I strongly suggest no alcohol at all the night before you go on track.
In fact, our whole team,
our whole team is forbidden
to drink alcohol. Okay, because we're there to work and perform well. Okay, I think that's it for the questions, but let's see if everybody can, right after they get off of this, is go to Cruise for a Cause. It's number 4.
And donate and sign up for your chance to win not only a GT500. That's cool. VIN number 05.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that is beyond cool. And a chance to win a $100 gift certificate for Kenny Brown products.
Mm-hmm.
So,
and there's a couple of those going out. So anyway, so again, it's Cruise for the number 4 a cause. And the code word is for the 40% is KB Performance. Kenny Brown Performance, KB Performance.
So whatever you buy in tickets, you actually get 40% more.
Kelvin's already donated. Dell Hughes has already donated. Yay.
You guys rock.
So that is awesome.
Okay, well, I think with that, we're going to wrap up. I'm pretty excited to have Evan on next week. It's like, I haven't actually physically seen him for a long time. I think the last time he saw me, I probably had a whole bunch more weight on. And but as you can see, I've trimmed up, healthy as an ox. A small ox anyway. So
and thanks, Dan.
Okay, thanks, Dan, for coming. Evan, we'll see you next week. Everybody, if you're like us, just try to stay warm. It's going to be chilly. I think we're going to get snowed on pretty heavy on Monday. So I'm guessing that's moving somewhere to the Midwest. So anyway, we'll see you all next week. Have a good weekend, rest of the weekend, and stay